I have seen time work its way across faces, leaving lines that tell stories of laughter, struggle, and the passing of years. Some faces age gracefully, soft wrinkles forming like gentle waves. Others seem to crumple, deep creases appearing long before their time. For years, I wondered why some people keep their skin smooth and firm while others watch their youth fade too fast. People chase expensive creams and treatments, believing they hold the secret. But what if I told you that the real key lies not in a bottle, but on your plate? I have watched men and women eat as if food were nothing but fuel, never thinking about how it shapes their skin. I have seen people devour processed junk, loading up on sugar and unhealthy fats, only to complain when their face starts sagging before they hit middle age. I have seen others nourish their bodies with wholesome foods, and they seem to defy time itself. It took me years to see the connection, but once I did, it was impossible to ignore. I remember an old friend of mine. He was younger than me, but his face told a different story. Deep furrows lined his forehead. Crow's feet etched themselves into the corners of his eyes. His skin, once full of life, looked dry and worn. He asked me if I knew of a good cream to fix it. I laughed. I told him, "You cannot fix years of bad eating with a few drops of lotion." He looked confused, so I told him what I knew. Every bite you take either feeds your skin or fights against it. Sugar is the worst enemy. I have seen it happen time and time again. People eat cakes, pastries, and candies without thinking twice. What they do not realize is that sugar clings to the proteins in your skin, breaking them down. It destroys collagen, the very thing that keeps your face firm and smooth. Once that collagen weakens, wrinkles form. The skin loses its bounce, its life. I told my friend to look at those who eat too much sugar. Their faces do not lie. Then they're the ones who think fat is the enemy, so they cut it out completely. I shake my head when I see it. Your skin needs good fats to stay soft and supple. I have known people who avoided avocados, nuts, and olive oil, thinking they were making the healthy choice. What they got instead were dry, lifeless faces, wrinkles carving their way in faster than they should. The right fats, those found in fish, seeds, and natural oils, are what keep the skin from turning into paper. And water. Water. It sounds too simple, does it not? But I have seen the difference between a well-hydrated face and one starved of moisture. A face that lacks water is a face that looks tired and brittle. I used to tell my children, if your skin looks like cracked earth, it is because you are not drinking enough. They laughed at me then. They do not laugh now. I have met many people who do not eat enough colorful foods. Bright fruits and deep green vegetables are nature's way of keeping us young. I have seen those who live on processed meals, their faces turning dull and weary. Then I have met elders who still have a glow to them, their wrinkles soft and kind. They eat berries, spinach, carrots, foods packed with the things skin needs to repair itself. I tell people, your skin is not just a cover. It is alive, and like anything alive, it needs the right fuel. One of the worst things I have seen is how people abuse their bodies with alcohol and smoking. I had a neighbor once. He was only a few years older than me, but you would think he was decades ahead. He drank every night, smoked every morning, and laughed when people warned him about it. His skin told a sad story. Deep lines ran across his cheeks, his lips pursed with permanent wrinkles. His hands looked as if they belonged to an ancient man. He thought it was just bad luck. I knew better. But here's the good news. You are not powerless. I have seen people turn things around, and their skin thanked them for it. I once knew a woman who decided to change her diet completely. She quit sugar, started eating healthy fats, drank more water than she ever had before. I saw her a few months later, and I almost did not recognize her. Her skin looked fuller, smoother. The deep wrinkles that once sat on her forehead had softened. She did not need expensive treatments. She just gave her skin what it needed. I tell people all the time, it is never too late. I have seen old friends start eating better in their 60s, and even then, their skin improved. The body is always trying to heal, always trying to repair what has been broken. All you have to do is help it. I have watched people cut back on processed food, and within weeks, their faces look brighter. I have seen those who thought they were doomed to early wrinkles change their diet and watch their skin regain its life. I know it is hard. I know habits are difficult to break. I have seen people struggle to let go of the foods they love, even when those foods are ruining them. But I have also seen the reward of making better choices. I have seen people gain back their confidence, stand taller, smile wider, because their skin no longer makes them look older than they feel. People always ask me if it is too late for them. I tell them the truth. It is never too late. I have met people who thought their wrinkles were permanent, only to watch them fade when they started treating their body right. Your skin is like a story, and you are the one writing it. Every meal, every drink, every choice is a line in that story. You can write one that is full of health, full of energy. Or you can write one that ends too soon, with a face that tells a tale of neglect. I have lived long enough to see what works and what is not. I have seen those who respect their bodies and those who take them for granted. And I will tell you this. The ones who age well, the ones whose faces carry time with grace, they're the ones who listen to what their skin is asking for. They're the ones who choose food that nourishes instead of destroys. They're the ones who drink water like it is the elixir of life. They're the ones who know that what you eat is what you wear on your face. So if you're worried about wrinkles, do not look at a mirror first. Look at your plate, because the answer is there. It always has been. Now, let's clear some common questions. How does alcohol and caffeine consumption affect skin aging? And are they as damaging as sugar? I have lived long enough to see how time shapes the face. I have watched friends grow older, some gracefully, some too fast. I have seen the choices people make and the way those choices carve lines into their skin. Over the years, I have come to understand that nothing we consume is without consequence. What we eat and drink does not simply pass through us. It leaves marks, some invisible, some written plainly on our faces. And if there are two things people rarely think about when it comes to aging, it is alcohol and caffeine. They drink them every day, never stopping to ask what price they might be paying. I have seen the effects with my own eyes. I have seen what happens to those who indulge too much. I know the truth. Alcohol is not just a drink. It is a slow thief, stealing from the body little by little. I had a friend once, a man who loved his whiskey. He drank every evening, never thinking much of it. Just a drink or two to relax, he would say with a laugh. But I watched as his skin began to change. At first, it was subtle, a dryness that was not there before, a dullness in his once bright complexion. Then the lines deepened, and his face lost its fullness. He looked older than his years, and yet he still did not see it. I told him what I knew, but he waved me off. "Nonsense," he said. "It is just aging." But I knew better. Alcohol dehydrates the skin. That is the first and most obvious effect. Every sip pulls water away, leaving the skin struggling to stay moist and plump. I have seen it happen time and time again. People who drink too often wake up with faces that look tired and lifeless. Their skin does not bounce back the way it used to. Fine lines become more pronounced. The glow fades. And yet they reach for another drink, never making the connection. I tell them, your body is crying for water, and you're giving it poison instead. But dehydration is just the beginning. Alcohol also weakens the very foundation of the skin. Collagen, that precious thing that keeps the face firm and smooth, suffers under the weight of too much drinking. I have known men and women who once had full, youthful faces, only to watch them hollow out over time. Their cheeks lose volume. Their under eyes darken and sink. It is not just about getting older. It is about what they have done to themselves. I have seen people who hardly drink, and their skin tells a different story. Softer, firmer, more alive. They are proof that it is not just fate that determines how we age. It is choice. And then there is caffeine. The world runs on it. I have seen people who cannot start their day without a cup of coffee, sometimes two, sometimes three. They drink it like it is the fuel that keeps them moving, but they never think about what it is doing to their skin. I once had a neighbor who drank coffee all day long. She was never without her cup. In the morning, in the afternoon, even late at night. She said it kept her sharp, kept her going. But I noticed something else. Her skin looked tired, almost hollow. The fine lines around her mouth and eyes deepened too soon. Her hands, once smooth, became dry and wrinkled before their time. Caffeine, like alcohol, robs the body of moisture. It pulls water away, leaving the skin gasping for hydration. People do not realize that every cup of coffee is like taking a step toward dryness. And dry skin is aging skin. Without enough moisture, the skin loses its ability to repair itself. Wrinkles settle in faster. The face loses its softness. And yet, people keep drinking, thinking nothing of it. But there is something else that people do not talk about. Both alcohol and caffeine mess with sleep. And sleep, my friend, is one of the most powerful tools we have against aging. I have seen people who sleep well, and I have seen those who do not. The difference is striking. Good sleep allows the body to repair, to rebuild collagen, to clear away the damage of the day. But alcohol disrupts sleep. People think it helps them relax, but what it really does is prevent deep, restful rest. I have watched people wake up after a night of drinking, their faces looking older than they did the day before. Caffeine is no better. It keeps people wired, unable to truly rest. And without proper rest, the skin suffers. Dark circles deepen. The face loses its vibrancy. The body does not get the chance to heal. Now, is alcohol or caffeine as bad as sugar? That is a question I've thought about for years. Sugar is a destroyer in its own way. It breaks down collagen, leading to sagging and deep wrinkles. It causes inflammation, making the skin look puffy and worn. It is silent but deadly. But in my years of watching, I have come to believe that alcohol and caffeine do not trail far behind. They may not attack collagen as aggressively as sugar, but they create an environment where aging speeds up. They take away hydration. They disrupt sleep. They weaken the skin's ability to repair. And when you add it all together, the result is the same. A face that ages too fast. I have seen people give up sugar and see their skin improve. I have also seen people cut back on alcohol and coffee and notice the same. Their faces regain some of their fullness. Their skin looks less tired. The lines that once seemed permanent soften. I have told many people, you do not have to give these things up completely. But if you respect your body, if you want to age well, you will not let them control you. Some listen, some do not. That is the way of life. But I will tell you this. I have lived long enough to know that the little choices add up. What you put into your body today is the face you will wear tomorrow. And if you're not careful, one day you will wake up and wonder where your youth went. By then, it may be too late. But if you choose wisely now, if you take care of your skin from the inside out, you just might keep people guessing about your age. And that, my friend, is something worth thinking about. How quickly can someone see noticeable changes in their skin after making dietary improvements? I have seen many people make promises to themselves, vowing to eat better, drink more water, and take care of their bodies. They expect miracles, hoping to wake up with glowing skin after just a day or two of eating right. And when they do not see instant changes, they grow frustrated, convinced that it is all for nothing. I have watched them give up too soon, returning to their old ways, never realizing how close they were to something better. They ask me, how long will it take? How quickly can I see the difference? And I tell them the truth. Change does not happen overnight, but it happens faster than they think. I remember a young woman who came to me, tired of looking in the mirror and seeing a face that looked older than her years. Her skin was dull, rough, lined with fine wrinkles that had settled in too soon. She had spent years eating whatever was easy, drinking little water, filling herself with sugar and processed foods. She asked me what to do, desperate for a way to bring back the glow she had lost. I told her, give your skin what it needs and it will thank you. But you must be patient. You must trust the process. She listened, though I could see the doubt in her eyes. The first change she noticed came within days. Her skin, once dry and rough, started to feel softer. Hydration was the first gift her body gave her in return for her efforts. She had replaced sodas and sugary drinks with water, drinking more than she ever had before. At first, she found it difficult, always reaching for what was familiar. But within a few days, she realized her skin no longer felt as tight, no longer looked as tired. It was a small change, but it was a sign that her body was responding. Within a week, The dullness that had once settled over her face began to fade. The colors in her skin grew richer, the lifeless look replaced with something fresher. She had added more fruits and vegetables to her meals, giving her body the vitamins and antioxidants it had been craving for years. The damage that had been building inside her was now starting to reverse. I told her, "Your body is always working to heal you. You just have to stop getting in its way." By the second week, she started to notice something even more surprising. The fine lines that had begun to creep in around her eyes and mouth were less pronounced. They had not vanished, of course, but they were softer, less noticeable. Her skin was holding on to moisture better, thanks to the healthy fats she had introduced in her diet. Avocados, nuts, olive oil. These were now part of her daily meals, and her skin was drinking them in like a thirsty plant after a long drought. She ran her fingers over her face, amazed. "Is it really possible to see changes this fast?" she asked, and I told her, the body does not waste time. The moment you give it what it needs, it starts repairing. By the time a month had passed, the transformation was undeniable. Her eyes looked brighter, no longer weighed down by dark circles. The inflammation in her skin had gone down, and the redness that once lingered on her cheeks had faded. She told me that people had started asking if she was doing something different, if she had changed her skincare routine. But she knew the truth. It was not a cream or a treatment. It was her food, her choices, her decision to care for her body in a way she never had before. I have seen this happen again and again. I have known people who suffered from acne for years, thinking it was something they had to accept, only to watch their skin clear up after removing processed foods and dairy from their diet. I have seen men and women with sagging skin regain a bit of firmness after introducing foods rich in collagen-building nutrients. I have watched older folks who thought their best days were behind them glow with a new radiance after committing to a healthier way of eating. But I always warn people, you must keep going. The biggest mistake I see is when people stop too soon, thinking the work is done. The body is always renewing itself, always shedding old cells and creating new ones. The skin you have today is not the same skin you will have in a month. Every choice you make now shapes what you will see in the mirror in the future. I have known people who saw progress, became comfortable, and slowly fell back into their old habits. And when they did, the dullness returned, the lines deepened, the tired look crept back onto their faces. The body will give you results, but it will also take them away if you stop caring for it. Some changes happen quickly, within days or weeks. Hydration, brightness, and a reduction in puffiness can be seen almost immediately when the body is given the right fuel. But the deeper changes, the ones that truly reshape the way your skin ages, take time. It can take months for collagen levels to build back up, for the deeper layers of skin to reflect the improvements happening inside. The most dramatic transformations often come to those who stay committed for half a year, or longer. I have seen people look years younger simply because they gave their bodies what they needed consistently, not just for a few weeks, but as a way of life. I tell people, do not chase quick fixes. Chase lasting change. There is no magic food that will erase wrinkles in a day. No single meal will suddenly turn back the clock. But if you make the right choices day after day, the results will come. And when they do, they will not be temporary. They will not fade the moment you stop using an expensive product. They will be yours to keep because they were built from within. I have seen the power of food, the way it can heal, restore, and transform. I have watched people regain confidence, standing taller, smiling brighter, simply because their skin reflects the care they now give themselves. And I have seen the regret in those who waited too long, only realizing when it was too late that they had the power all along. The time will pass anyway. The days, the weeks, the months, they will come and go. The question is, will you use them to your advantage? Will you feed your skin with what it needs? Or will you continue to hope for a miracle while ignoring the simplest, most powerful solution? The choice is always in your hands. The results will come faster than you think, but only if you begin. What are the most surprising or unexpected foods that either help prevent or cause wrinkles? I have lived long enough to see people chase the secret to youth in every corner of life. They buy expensive creams. They try strange treatments. They believe in magic solutions, hoping that something outside of them will keep their skin from aging. But I have learned that the real secret is not in a bottle. It is in the food we eat every single day. And what surprises most people is that some of the foods they have trusted for years are actually making them age faster, while others they never thought twice about are quietly keeping their skin strong and smooth. I once knew a woman who ate what she thought was a perfectly healthy diet. She avoided fried foods. She stayed away from sugar. She drank plenty of water. Yet, her skin aged quickly, wrinkles settling in earlier than they should have. She asked me what she was doing wrong, and when I looked at her diet, I saw the answer right away. She ate too many rice cakes, crackers, and low-fat snacks, thinking they were good for her. But what she did not realize was that these foods were breaking down into sugar the moment they entered her body. I told her, it does not matter if it looks healthy. If it acts like sugar inside you, it will damage your skin all the same. Processed carbohydrates, even the ones that do not taste sweet, are one of the most unexpected causes of wrinkles. White bread, pasta, and even so-called healthy cereals spike blood sugar levels, leading to something called glycation. This process weakens collagen, the very thing that keeps skin firm and youthful. People think only candy and desserts cause this damage, but I have seen people who avoid sugar and still age quickly because they fill their plates with processed grains. Their faces lose elasticity. Their skin sags before it's time, and they do not know why. But then, there are the foods that work in secret to protect the skin. I once knew an old fisherman who looked far younger than his years. His skin was smooth. His face had a glow that most people half his age had lost. When I asked him his secret, he laughed and said, "I just eat what the sea gives me." And that was the answer. He ate fatty fish, rich in omega-3 fatty acids. Salmon, sardines, mackerel. These foods are like medicine for the skin. They fight inflammation, keep the skin hydrated from the inside, and protect against the breakdown of collagen. People spend hundreds of dollars on skincare products, but the real solution might just be on their dinner plate. Another surprising food that helps keep wrinkles away is dark chocolate. People think of chocolate as a guilty pleasure, something they should avoid. But the right kind of chocolate, the kind that is rich in cocoa and low in sugar, is packed with antioxidants that fight aging. I knew a man who had a piece of dark chocolate every evening, and his skin always had a certain glow to it. He never feared wrinkles the way others did. The secret was in the flavonols, compounds that improve blood flow to the skin, keeping it nourished and healthy. But I always warn people, do not reach for the milk chocolate. That is just sugar pretending to be something good. The real magic is in the dark kind. One of the most unexpected foods that harms the skin is vegetable oil. People have been told for years that these oils, corn oil, soybean oil, canola oil, are healthy. But I have seen what they do. They create silent inflammation in the body, and inflammation is one of the biggest causes of wrinkles. I once met a woman who ate plenty of salads, thinking she was doing everything right. But she dressed them with bottle dressings full of vegetable oils. Her skin was always irritated, always looking tired. When she switched to olive oil instead, the change was almost immediate. Her face softened. The redness faded. The hidden damage started to reverse. Another food that surprises people is bone broth. In a world where people chase collagen supplements, the real source of skin strength has been in traditional cooking all along. I remember my grandmother making broth from bones, letting it simmer for hours, filling the house with a rich, comforting scent. She never had expensive skincare products, yet her skin remained firm and smooth well into old age. That broth was full of collagen, the very thing people now try to buy in powdered form. I tell people, why take it from a jar when you can get it from real food? One of the strangest foods I have found to be powerful against wrinkles is tomatoes. People think of them as just another vegetable, something ordinary. But inside every tomato is lycopene, a compound that protects the skin from sun damage. I once knew a farmer who spent his days in the sun, but barely had a wrinkle on his face. He told me he ate tomatoes every day, fresh from his garden. At the time, I thought it was just luck. But now I know better. His diet, was shielding him from the very thing that aged others. Dairy is another food that people do not suspect when it comes to wrinkles. Some people drink milk every day, eat cheese without a second thought, never realizing how it might be affecting their skin. I have seen people struggle with acne and early wrinkles, blaming genetics, when all along it was the dairy causing inflammation in their bodies. Not everyone reacts the same way, but I have seen enough to know that for some, giving up dairy can make the skin look years younger. And then there's green tea. A simple drink, but one of the most powerful things you can put into your body. I once traveled to a village where the elders had some of the smoothest skin I had ever seen. They drank green tea every single day. The antioxidants in it fight the very processes that cause wrinkles, protecting the skin at the deepest level. While others reach for coffee, which dries the skin and fuels stress, these people sip their tea and let its magic work. I have watched people age before their time simply because they did not know what was on their plate. And I have seen people slow the clock, sometimes even turn it back, just by changing what they eat. The foods that harm us are often the ones we trust too much. The foods that save us are often the ones we overlook. I tell people, pay attention. What you eat is shaping your face every single day. The truth is, aging is not just about time. It is about choices. And those choices, small as they may seem, add up with every meal. If you choose wisely, your skin will show it. If you ignore the signs, the damage will come faster than you expect. The most surprising thing is not which foods help or harm. It is how much power we have over the way we age. And that, my friend, is something worth thinking about. If you like today's discussion, don't forget to like the video, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to stay updated with every video we release. And yes, don't forget to share your experiences and thoughts in the comments. Every comment is special to us. Your feedback helps us improve further. We'll continue to meet you in every new video on this channel. So until next time, take care.